Soul. How are you? Nice to see you out and about. Isn't it a beautiful day? Isn't it so comfortable just like floating along, bobbing back and forth? Well, you know what? It's nice to see you have a break. You need a break. Everybody needs a break. Hey, let me tell you all about some stuff I've been reading. Since I've been out here on the water, enjoying the summer so much. I started reading about different words that come from being on the water and sailor terms and stuff like that. And I was thinking about so many things that we say in daily life. These sayings that we have come from nautical stuff. So, let me just bend your ear. So, you ever heard of someone being called a loose cannon? You? Me? Well, so there's a history behind actually saying that. If a cannon on board a ship broke free from the ropes that keep it in place, it would pose a danger to the ship and its crew because ships rock back and forth on the water. So nowadays we might describe someone as a loose cannon if they are known to be dangerous or unpredictable. That's funny. And I know I grew up hearing people being called a son of a gun. Always thought the gun was to replace another bad word, but so no, actually, son of a gun was a baby born on board a ship, maybe between the guns of a gun deck, so between the cannons. So a son of a gun, it is an insult. On rare occasions, you may even hear someone exclaim it in surprise, but that's just where you were born, huh? It's yeah. I guess why would that be an insult? I guess if you didn't have a hospital, you couldn't afford a medic. But hey, at least you're alive and they're not throwing you overboard. I don't know. Also, I never knew this, but when someone flakes out, being a flake, it's actually a phrase that comes from when a crew would flake out an anchor chain. So they lay it out flat on the deck to check the chain links for signs of wear. Well, that's a good idea, actually, because you don't want to throw your anchor overboard and then it flies away. It's not connected to you. That'd be bad. That'd be a bad plan. So today, to flake out is to be completely worn out or fall asleep. Interesting, like checking out, mentally checking out, flake out. All right. Now, here's one I think I've kind of heard in either poems or old movies, but as the crow flies. I know the crow was cool. Hate that guy died, though. But, so just to say, if you travel as the crow flies, then you travel in a straight line, avoiding any obstacles. That's kind of a good plan. One theory for the origin of this phrase is that Vikings released land-loving crows or ravens from a ship to help find a route to the nearest shore. Legend has it that this is also why the lookout point at the top of a ship was called the Crow's Nest, named after the place where Viking sailors kept their crows or ravens in a cage. Oh my goodness, this so makes me think of Noah's Ark and the dove and other birds that were sent out to find land. Yeah, interesting that Vikings were doing that. Birds seem to have helped people in a lot of ways, those miners too. Alright, now here's where I really got into looking up nautical terms. Because chock-a-block. Chock-a-block. I somehow feel like I've heard this in music videos and stuff. Chock-a-block. The blocks, also called a cuddy sark, are parts of a ship's pulley system. So when you see those ropes that hold the masts together, and they come down to the sides of the ship where you would be your handrails, these massive metal hook things attached to this giant wooden thing that looks like the piece that's on those laundry lines your grandmother used to have connected to the house so she could put out all your underwear for the neighbors to see while it dries. Those big wooden things, they're the chock-a-blocks. So when the rope linking two blocks pulls them tightly together, it prevents any further movement in the rigging. So it holds things tight. It's a pulley system. Ooh, holding things tight. Chock-a-block holds things tight. Oh, I feel like we can make more of that. Somebody who understands this better than me, tell me in the comments. But I think I get it. Like you're the guy keeping things tight. You're the chock-a-block. All right. So to have things all sewn up, when a sailor died on board, they would be sewn into the hammock or a canvas sailcloth. They would then be weighted down before being buried at sea. Now the phrase has a slightly less morbid meaning. If you have things all sewn up, it means you've completely finished doing something. Well, completion of life. You finished your journey. You got it all sewn up. It's done. Okay. Now, I've heard this one because of Jack Sparrow. I like the cut of your jib. Jibs are triangular sails that are found at the front of a ship. The shape of jibs varied across countries and nations. And as a result, 18th century sailors, so 1700s, could identify a warship as a friend or a foe by the shape of their jib. Nowadays, if you like the cut of someone's jib, then you like the way they look or act. Very nice. Well, if I like the look of that, that means that's a friendly one. I don't like the look of that, that is not a friendly one. And before I get there, gives you time to get away though. That's always good. Now here's one I've heard a lot growing up. Cut and run. Let's cut and run. Just cut and run. If a ship needs to make a quick getaway in the face of danger, there may not be enough time to raise the anchor. To prevent damage to the ship, a crew might decide simply to cut the anchor free and run for safety. Cut and run today usually means to cut your losses and get out of a situation or leave very suddenly, even if you have to leave something behind. That means you're really in danger and you want to live. I understand. All right. Now here's another one I've heard and I've used. To the bitter end. The bitter end is the final part of an anchor chain or rope that secures the anchor to the ship. To reach the bitter end was to have the chain or rope extended as far as it can go. Similarly, if you say you are reaching the bitter end today, it means you've gone as far as you can, often in a difficult situation. Interesting. And I think very accurate. There's so many things I had no idea came from life at sea. And we use it all the time. An albatross around your neck. I've heard this one. I've used this to describe a couple people to my friends at times. This phrase comes from Samuel Taylor Coleridge's poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. In the poem, an albatross, which is a sign of good luck, is killed by a sailor. He is then forced to carry the enormous bird around his neck as punishment. Nowadays, we might say that someone has an albatross around their neck to mean that they carry a difficult or heavy burden. They're kind of like a giant seagull-looking thing, an albatross. Why would you kill one? I don't know. I like their sound. I always know that I'm somewhere. Water must be a few blocks away if you're hearing them. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I've always had that feeling. A leading light. When docking at night, lights on shore help guide ships safely into the port, and a leading light was prominently positioned for this purpose. Today, someone might be described as a leading light if they are well respected in a particular field, especially if there's someone that people follow for guidance. Okay, now, I never heard the next one, but I think it's kind of funny unless it was really happening, so I don't advocate for this, but enough room to swing a cat. The word cat within this phrase doesn't refer to a feline meow meow pet, but rather a whip called the cat o' nine tails. Not enough room to swing a cat. So a flogging with a cat o' nine tails was an infamous naval punishment. However, it was usually too cramped to swing the whip below deck. Hence, this phrase was born. Today, you might use this phrase to describe a small, confined space. Like it's too tight in here. Get out. Let me out. Oh my goodness. Alright. You'll have the devil to pay. I've heard of this in like old-timey movies from the 50s and stuff. Okay. So sailors had to caulk or pay the seams of the ship to keep them watertight. This involves stuffing the gap first with oakum or rope fibers, and then sealing it with hot tar. Interesting. So, like caulking, to caulk like your windowsill and stuff, is to fill the gaps. Totally. Get it. So, you totally take that on. All right. Well, hot tar would be very painful and smelly. Okay. Okay, so also, so the devil to pay, where a particular tricky seam to caulk would be referred to as the devil, because you're like between the outside of the ship and the sail. And you might hear someone say you'll have the devil to pay. It means you'll have a very difficult task to do. So if you're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, which I think is in a song, rumor has it that to caulk the devil seam of the ship, a sailor had to hang off the side of the boat. Hence, they would be caught between the devil and the deep blue sea. Ooh, that doesn't sound like a good plan. All right, now, I came across this phrase. I've always loved my copper bottom frying pan. I loved it so much. So I was sad when I gave it away, but I gave it away to someone. I gave it to Magnus, which was really good, because they needed one, and I just don't have the space to keep it. It's so big. So the phrase of copper bottomed actually comes back to when ships were fitted with metal sheets of copper or brass, and the metal sheathing stopped barnacles from attaching to the hull and slowing the ship down at sea. It also protected the wooden frames underneath from the wood-boring shipworm. Ooh, I didn't know there was such a thing. Gross. Which could cause a ship to sink. Oh my goodness. Today you might say that something reliable, sturdy, or strong is copper-bottomed. My frying pan definitely was. And finally, my favorite, to hit the deck. We hear that all the time. I think there's a movie by that name. There's got to be a song about it. And I know I played a game in drama class called Hit the Deck, which was fun. Sailors might hit the deck or dive to the floor if under attack. The meaning's pretty much the same today. If someone hits the deck, it means they're falling to the floor, intentionally or accidentally. And I'm thinking in those days, if you had like cannonballs or grape shot coming at you, all those splinters in your eyes and skin, that would be horrifically painful. You'd have no time to pull them out because the next one's flying. Whoop. So I guess falling to the floor like that protects you from whatever's flying up in the air. Alright. So that's... So, yeah, I guess there is another thing I've heard about. So, anchors away. And I know there's definitely a song for that. Anchors away, my friend. Anchors away, I think. Okay. So, when hoisting an anchor, when you lift it up, someone might cry out, anchors away. It's not away, A-W-A-Y. It's A-W-E-I-G-H. Like to weigh it, it's heavy. Interesting. Totally didn't know that. I totally thought of it as A-W-A-Y. So when they start to feel the weight of the anchor as it breaks free from the seabed, so when you're picking it up off the ground so you can like sail away. Well, not heard as much today. You might hear someone exclaim, this is to indicate something that has started. Anchors away? I always thought that you were putting it down. So you bring it up means we're off. We're going to get going now. Bye. Oh, interesting. Anchors away, my friend, anchors away. That's the song. And it means we're leaving now. Bye. Okay. That's terrific. All right. Just a couple more. Just a couple more before you head out. This is so much fun to me. I hope you're having fun. I love knowing about where we get our words from, why we say these things. So, on an even keel. I know I've heard this one. So a keel is a ship's backbone, the long piece of wood or metal running along the bottom of the hull. If the keel is even, then the ship is stable in the water. As a result, you might use this phrase to describe something as steady and predictable. We're on an even keel. Yeah, we're going good. And finally, to be groggy. I know that's how I felt when I woke up this morning, but I couldn't get back to sleep, so I thought I'd just float around out here and see who comes by. And hopefully you're not feeling groggy. Anyways, getting some fresh air and drinking some clean water, it always makes me feel a lot better when I wake up groggy. So, okay, anyways, groggy is an adjective that comes from the word grog. I think I know this as something people drink. So, which it was the daily ration of watered down rum for sailors. When sailors had a bit too much to drink, they would be referred to as groggy. Today, you might be called groggy if you're a bit drunk, but it's mainly said when someone is still half asleep in the morning, ill, or disoriented. I guess the symptoms would look the same. Huh. And that's hilarious. Okay. Okay, one last time because you know I keep on talking. You're thinking, Venus, pipe down. Okay. Well, pipe down. A boatswain or boatswain was a ship's officer who was, amongst other duties, in charge of the crew. He would issue different orders to crew members by changing the sound patterns blown on his call, a sort of high-pitched whistle. Pipe down was the last order of the day for off-duty crew to stop talking, settle down, or go to bed. Today, the phrase pipe down is still used to tell someone to be quiet. Oh, all right, Msoul. I'll pipe down. But I'm still going to stay out here and float around on the water. Love listening to the birds and the wind and the sea, all the little waves lapping up as I get tossed gently back and forth on the water. Whew. Anyways, all right. I'll let you get back to it. I'll see you out there. Bye.